I remember that the prisoners of war, after the war, that they brought a lot of them on the farm, the Wake Sugarcane farm. My dad got to be friends with a lot of them. And he used to make all kind of different stuff and give him. I mean, they were good people. And they were from Germany. After the United States won the war, they brought a lot of prisoner of war over here. And they had a lot on Wake Sugarcane farm. And like, you know, we didn't treat them as our enemy because they didn't act like an enemy. I mean, they were friendly people. They used to visit, and they were crazy about my dad, you know. My dad was the type of person, man, he'd make friends with anybody. Basic training taught you discipline and how to be a man. I mean, you had the sergeant, he would holler at you, tell you ain't nothing, but he was making a man out of you. You know, and when I left home at 18 years old, I didn't know nothing. Everything I learned by going to the military. Everything, you know, and the 16 weeks of basic training I had made a man out of me. People treat us nice, man. It was better in Germany then than it is now. And they still had all them bombed out buildings and all that over there. When I went over there, they hadn't fixed the place up. But the time I went over there, like, you know, the German people couldn't tell us anything. I mean, the policemen couldn't tell us nothing, you know, because it was still unknown. But I was there during the Cold War, when the Cold War broke out, but we never considered it cold. 18, 19 years old, and we weren't worried about no war. And I never thought about how bad the Cold War was until I read about it when I got out. You know, it was a bad war. And them German people, I said, what y'all doing over here? See, they didn't know what was going on in the United States, and we didn't know what was going on in the United States. And he used to ask, well, the way they treat y'all, why y'all over here? We didn't have no choice. We're Americans just like anybody else. You know, I mean, what's going on? We couldn't say, well, we're going to desert the military because of integration. And when I went in, they just had integrated the military when I went in. You know, it was all segregated then, but they integrated. In Germany, I spent most of my time in Germany, and I was treated fine in Germany, man. Now, when I was in the United States, we went to a little town, stationed in Fort Leonard, Missouri. We went to a town you call Waynesville, Missouri. We went out with to St. Louis, and it was hot, like about 100-something degrees, you know, like how to get Missouri. So we stopped in a little town you call Waynesville to get a cold drink. We didn't drink, so about 4 of us in the car. We had no air conditioning, nothing like that. So we stopped in a little town, and so I walked in a little country store and told the guy I wanted some cold drinks. So went nice bag, got our cold drink. So when we flipped the top and went to do it, they said, oh, hold up, sir. Y'all can't drink that in here. He said, so he said, why? I said, because we don't like color in here, you know. We were in the military fighting in the war, you know, and they said, okay, we went on outside, drank our cold drink and left. It wasn't nothing boring, because there's always something different to go see. You know, we'd go to Italy, France, Berlin, go all them places. One time, a couple of guys got all drunk up, you know, and see, certain place in Berlin, you can't walk. They went and walked across the border, man, and that was it, you know. So the general had to go over there and get them. I think I would get Brigadier General Johnson. And the whole use of war was restricted. Nobody could go nowhere for 2 weeks, just because of them 2 guys, you know. Demolition specialists, we blow up stuff. Like I got one experience I can tell you that I think that was in 56. That it was so cold. It was something like, oh man, I guess it was about 8, 9, 10 below zero. And General Patton had built a bridge across the Rhine River, a wooden bridge, during World War II, and they preserved that bridge. And as a generation back, we had to walk that bridge all night because the icebergs were floating down the Rhine River, and we had to throw TNT on them and blow them up before they hit the bridge. And that was a great experience, man. Well, yeah, I had a bunch to go. I wasn't if I'd have married where I was going to live at, I couldn't bring them back here. That's 1954. And the Germans are white just like anybody, just like you all are. I couldn't budge. I had one guy, his name was McClurin. So he married a German girl, and he was from Macomb, Mississippi. So I said, man, where you going to live at? He said, well, I ain't going back to Mississippi. So I know what happened to him. The best thing that a young man could do today, if you don't want to go to college, you go to the military. You can get a college education right in the military. You know, and you can get a hell of an experience.